What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today I'm gonna, deviate from talking about just hockey to have a hockey tie-in to, a big story in the Boston area regarding, another sport. The Boston Red Sox obviously acquired Chris Sale yesterday. I think an excellent deal, an excellent acquisition. I'm giddy thinking about him, Porcello and Rick Price. PPS, SP, whatever they're gonna call the rotation with the big three. But it brings up the ever popular discussion of prospects like Makata, who supposedly could be the next big thing, versus established greatness. Chris Sale every year, top 5 in the Cy Young voting. You've got to strike out a ton of guys. ERA under 3. I think he's got 1.8 ERA at Yankee Stadium. That's good. It can help a team right now, as opposed to waiting for something to develop. So my thing here is tied in with the Bruins going back to the 2014 trade deadline. The Bruins, if you remember correctly, in the 2013-2014 season, had the best record in the NHL, President's Trophy, went out in the second round to the Habs, and they kind of did nothing at the deadline. They had the assets and the cap space to go out and acquire, that one missing piece to get them over the hump. And it's easy to say, well, they have great chemistry. Why would you break it up? Yeah, but I'm just looking at this, the guys that were traded on that deadline day, March 5th. Matt Molson, Marian Gaborik, Tomas Vanek. You can't tell me getting one of those three guys in the lineup, Alex Hemsky, getting some more creativity in the lineup wouldn't have gotten them, more, wouldn't have gotten them past the Habs. That was a 7-game, knock them out, drag them out, fight to the death. And, getting that extra player probably would have gotten them over the top, I think. Now, maybe they lose to the Rangers, maybe they lose to the Kings in the final, whatever. But they wouldn't have gone down to the Habs in Game 7 at home with one of those guys out of that lineup. Again, hindsight's 2020. I get it. But, hypothetically, they give up that 2014 first-round pick. Let's say it's the first 2014 first-rounder straight up for Vanek. Because I think he went for a second, and Kohlberg was a fucking scrub prospect. But let's say Shirley says, you know what, fuck it. Vanek was on Long Island at the time, in Uniondale, he hadn't gone to Brooklyn yet. So, all right, Gostisno is a number 1 pick, give us Thomas Vanek. Let's say Vanek gets him over, the Habs. Remember, he played for the Habs in that series, it was actually not bad. But, the Bruins just could not generate quality scoring chances against Gary Price. And Vanek is a cold-blooded sniper. Was at the time. Actually had a nice goal last night against Winnipeg. But either way, you get that guy. Let's say they can make it to the final. Let's say they beat the Rangers in the conference finals and then they lose to LA in the 2014 final. They get one more trip to the final with this nucleus. And then obviously, as we know, the last 2, now 3 seasons have been mediocre. They thought they had 14 in the bag and could do some stuff going forward. And the irony is they have. They didn't win the cup that year, and they've been middle of the road the last 2 years. That 2014 first round pick, what it was, David Pastrnak. Would you, in hindsight, have given up the future with Pastrnak? I think he's very bright for a trip to the final, and I think the answer is yeah. I would have. Because especially look at the last few years. I mean, Pasternak's actually been one of the few bright spots, and he's only going to get better, obviously. But you got to take, when you have a great team like that, you can't dick around when you're that close. You can't say, oh well, we're going to wait for player X or draft pick X to develop, and it's so rare with draft picks and similar prospects. That it's not as rare. It's such a guessing game. It's a bit of witchcraft and wizardry, to quote Steve Dangle, my good friend Steve Glenn, to accurately assess what a guy's, future is going to be in the NHL and the time frame for that. And if you, again, have a good team, you can't sit around and wait forever on it. I mean, the fact that the Bruins of this decade will have only won 1 Stanley Cup is shit. They really should have been the Blackhawks, and had they rolled the dice at the 14 deadline, maybe they get that second ring. They get to that final, they beat LA. I think a Boston LA Stanley Cup final would have been pretty cool, but figured I'd just dish on it with the Sale thing, because anyone that thinks the Red Sox should sat pat with their, really, really deep farm system's an idiot. These chances don't come around often, not only to compete for World Series, but to acquire a guy like Chris Sale. And, to let it go out the window is just ridiculous. So, that's my little 2 cents on, prospects versus sure things. Anyway, that's all I got in this episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for more episodes through the season and beyond. Later, guys.